this week, the New York Times had published an excerpt about Brett Kavanaugh and some of the accusations of sexual assault against him. Now, in their piece, they mentioned someone by the name of Max Stier, who claimed that he had seen Brett Kavanaugh pull down his pants and shove his genitals in another woman's face. Now, the woman says that she doesn't recall that, and in the original publishing of that opinion piece on the New York Times, that part about her not recalling it wasn't included. Now, that is not the heart of the story. The heart of the story is that the FBI received a number of, people or names that they could have reached out to in order to find corroborating evidence for the other accusations against him. But the right wing wants to distract from that, and they're focusing on one misstep, one mistake by the New York Times. And here's an example of that. Here's Meghan McCain making a big deal about something that isn't really a big deal. You should be focusing on the FBI and the sham investigation. Take a look.
I think this is sort of ground zero for why so many people mistrust the media, why the New York Times has the nickname for New York Slimes with many people in conservative circles.
First of all, there was no desire to withhold important information from our readers. We have all of it in the book, and the essay is an adaptation of the book that, of course, we had to edit for length and clarity. During the editing process, there was an oversight and this key detail about the fact that the woman herself has told friends she doesn't remember it and has not wanted to talk about it, got cut. And it was an oversight, and the Times adjusted it.
I think actually the way it happened was the editors being concerned about naming her, because the Times has a tradition of not naming the victims and really has to deliberate whether or not to do that. In that sentence that had her name, it also had that she doesn't remember it. They took out the whole sentence, and in removing her name in order to kind of protect her and make sure we weren't sort of sending people to her door, we also took out the fact that she didn't remember it.
I just want to know blankly, can you understand why so many people think that this might be a hatchet job?
Yes, and I actually think, Megyn, it's a good point, because the reason we did this book in the first place was that this was such an incredibly polarizing event in our country's history. Everyone saw in it what they wanted to see. It was used for political purposes at the time. It's being used again.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good point. So let me break it down for you guys. Real quick summary of the case in case you don't remember. There's Christine Blasey Ford, and that was an attempted rape situation back in high school. Then Kavanaugh goes to college. There's two different women. Deborah Ramirez says, he put the genitalia near my face. The heart of the New York Times story is that the FBI had a list of 25 witnesses that Ramirez's attorneys said you should talk to them, find out if it's true or not true. They didn't talk to any of them. And then there were 7 different people who said, yes, at the time I remember Ramirez telling me this. Now, what they're talking about is a third woman, and I do a quick correction here, what we just said a little while ago. She had, according to the allegations, Kavanaugh push his genitalia into her hand, okay, not her face. And so Max Stier is one of the guys who runs a nonprofit in DC who said, yes, I remember that. But apparently the woman in question, the third woman, does not remember that. Should the New York Times have put that into the story? Definitely. You could leave out her name and still put it into the story. Now, the Meghan McCains of the world take that and go, see, that's it, none of it is true.
No, but they do it on purpose. They do it on purpose to distract. The heart of that story is the fact that the FBI, because of Republicans limiting the scope of that investigation, did not do their jobs. It was a sham investigation. There were 25 people, not only cited to the FBI, but 25 people who were reaching out to the FBI, hoping to talk to them to corroborate these accusations of sexual assault. The FBI didn't talk to them. That's the heart of the story. Stop letting the right wing take hold of and control the narrative. It's disgusting.
Your buddy Donald Trump has told thousands of lies. The New York Times immediately corrected it. There's a giant difference. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.